Hello, everyone. Welcome to Shamanism, Metaphysics, and Grace. I'm Lauren Hubele, and I'm so grateful to be here with my mentor and favorite astrologer, Jyoti Wind.
Thank you, Lauren. I'm glad to be here with you.
Jyoti, it's the start of a new year today with Solstice, and I am very excited to hear what you think the stars reveal.
Well, the actual solstice time for us here in Colorado, MST, is at 8:27 p.m. tonight. And I found it interesting that the moon moves into Taurus about a half hour, 40 minutes before the sun moves into Capricorn, which is when the solstice begins. And so it's the fact that the sun and moon are almost exactly trine. So if I was doing this chart for a person, I would say the sun, which is the internal process, and the moon, which is the outer personality, were absolutely dancing in harmony. What you see is what you get. And so, how would I translate that to talk about today and this chart being the chart for the next quarter of the year until the astrological new year in March at the equinox. So, even though there are other things going on, this sun and Mercury exactly trining the moon speaks of harmony,
Hmm.
speaks of flow.
Does anyone else get excited about that? After months of what has felt like disharmony, that
Yeah,
just warms my heart.
I know, but it's in the midst of other things going on and Pluto getting ready to go back into Aquarius next month, so it's kind of like maybe it's that hope, that hope that comes along and says, it might seem a little dark and confusing at times, and but yet here there's light, and today is the rekindling of the light. That's what the winter solstice is. It's when the sap just starts rising in the base of the roots of plants and trees, that it's just that rekindling of the light, just that growth process begins again.
Mhm, mhm. Beautiful. Jyoti, that's such a gorgeous image. And when you said that, I just had this picture of this dance out on the land and Mother Earth there receiving this harmony.
Yes, yes, and receiving that energy of quickening,
Yeah,
that quickening of the light, to bring the light back.
yeah. Well, to do that, we need harmony, right?
Yes, yes.
So
So
this is going to be the subtle undertone of everything else you're going to share, right? Thanks for
yes,
the good
yes.
news first.
Yes, yes. And Mercury is still retrograde. It goes direct on January 1st, which is interesting to begin a new year with Mercury making that shift in direction that day. So things move forward on January 1st that have been mulled around, thought about, confusing and all of that for the previous 3 weeks from January 1st. And so it'll but for the solstice being the beginning of this last quarter of the year, it still brings introspection because that Mercury is still retrograde. So it's still bringing introspection and insights, and it's also bringing emotionally transformative opportunities.
Well, Jyoti, what would that look like for someone?
Well, the moon, Pluto is squaring the moon. And so that is, it kind of pushes the collective emotional body, and says, what is it that's kind of unfinished? What is it that you still get snagged in or still get
Mhm.
caught in, that kind of thing. And And maybe you've made lots of progress. Maybe you've been working on it, not to get kind of caught in somebody else's stuff or your own stuff or whatever. And so Pluto is just kind of a barometer here and saying, there might be situations that come up, and see how well you do.
Mhm. Mm.
So almost like a barometer or a progress sheet. So you can see, well, I did better that time. I didn't get snagged immediately, or yeah, I didn't project as intensely as maybe sometimes I do. Yeah.
Nice. Thanks for that.
So I also wanted to look at the Christmas day chart because people get together at Christmas and it's family, friends, whatever. And so I usually like to look at what that day, the energy of that day. And the main thing for me is that Venus is trining Neptune. And this is very harmonious. This is well, Venus trine Neptune is music and singing. So if you can get people to sing before dinner or a Christmas carol or something, that would be great. And singing brings people together, but some families or gatherings are not going to do that. But it gives a harmony. It gives room for there to be more love and appreciation and more camaraderie, kind of, being considerate of other people's feelings, perhaps.
Hmm.
And this is
Wow.
the day.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
beautiful thing for family gatherings.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, people might just, make more room for each other, which would be wonderful.
Well, I was thinking if someone decided that they wouldn't do the family gathering this year, maybe they should reconsider it.
Maybe if there's time, maybe. Um, it depends on what brings you harmony.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
sometimes going off by yourself is harmonious as well, you know.
Sure.
So the next thing I would like to look at is the full moon on December 26th at let's see. It is at 5:33 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And Sun in Capricorn, Moon in Cancer. And this has a little bit more of an intense, it's a full moon. There's polarities when you have the sun and moon opposing that creates the full moon. And so there's polarities there. People sometimes create polarities with other people, thinking that other people feel differently than they do, and then, responding in that way, where if they just inquired, they might find that people feel exactly the same way they do, you know. So there's some friction usually with a full moon, but the sun is trining Jupiter, and this suggests good outcome. That there's a larger picture of possibility that they can look at. That sun trine Jupiter. What else is going on here? What else is trying to show itself here? The North Node is in Aries, and it's about being willing to be a risk taker and try new things and kind of dangle your toes off the edge of the cliff to see what lives there. And when I wrote my notes, I said that time alone would be beneficial, and I'll stick with that. And what else would I say about this? Juno trines the planet Uranus. Juno is the asteroid of relationships. And Juno trine the planet Uranus gives a lot of freedom and a lot of room to move. Between people, in a person, in their attitudes and beliefs about what relationships can be. So it's really an expansiveness, because Neptune has been opposing Juno, starting to move on. And so relationships maybe have felt a little more testy,
Mm.
sometimes, and so because we're trying to get more clear in what our changes are and their changes are, and how that looks and how you walk with that. And so I think with this Juno trine the planet Uranus in this full moon chart, that it really is opening some things up for people to see in the middle of commitment their own individuality.
Hmm. That's an unusual statement. Let's pick that apart for a little bit. So in relationship, a committed relationship, seeing your own self and sovereignty in it.
Yes, yes,
Hmm.
yes. And how you support the other person in that way, how you ask for support for yourself in that way. Um, because, we each come in here to do our own work, and we can't subsume that into, relationship wants and needs. I mean, we have to, in a sense, remember why we're here too, and still be true to the relationship agreements and whatever you have going on there. And so, but this, the planet Uranus is always about the individual. It's always about freedom, and freedom of being, and who you are as a being. And the fact that it's trining Juno is giving room for this next moon phase, at least, for there to be more of an attention perhaps to the individual within committed relationship instead of just the relationship.
Hmm. Jyoti, that makes me think about this in relationships, or particularly committed relationships. We really have three astrological charts at play, right? One for each
Absolutely.
individual, and then one for the relationship.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and so, as an astrologer, how do you work that with your clients?
Well, I look to see what each person's chart looks like and what are they bringing to the relationship to work on. Each person usually has at least one major aspect that shows up in the composite, the chart, the chart relationship, or the relationship of the chart. And it's looking at how the other person can assist, or the other person triggers, so that people don't fall asleep. They still remember why they're here, and what their personal soul work is, while they're in a relationship, and how the other person sometimes triggers your stuff, so lest you forget.
Hmm.
Yeah. And how each person can support the other person in working through their own stuff and healing what they came in to heal.
Interesting. I mean, it might be an opportune time to take a look at some relationship charts, given this astrology you're sharing.
Yeah, and it might be easier. It
Mm,
might be easier to have that look.
yeah.
Yes. And again, in this full moon chart, Venus is still trining Neptune. So, music as a catalyst for spiritual understanding. Um, and I mean, Venus trine Neptune, it has such a soft coloring to it. It's very gentle, it's very sweet, but it's very strong, especially around spiritual concepts and beliefs.
Mm,
And
mm.
it's art and music, especially, and singing and drama and, acting and all of those kinds of things.
So what's the time period for that?
Well, we're looking at the full moon to the new moon. Some people look at the full moon to the next full moon.
Mm,
I tend to look at the full moon to the new moon, and
mm,
then that's a new cycle.
yeah.
Yeah. So 2 weeks.
Okay.
So
Anything else about this time period you think we should know about?
um, Mercury and Mars are close in Sag, and they're squaring Neptune. And Mercury and Mars together, this is a very dynamic energy with the mind and the physical energy and drive and the desire to see the bigger picture. And with the square to Neptune, it's like a desire to just rent the veil and take the fog away, and see what the truth is, or see where you've been laboring under some misapprehension about something. So it could reveal more truth. It could reveal uh yeah, more clarity. I would think that there's a desire for clarity, and that there's a push with that Mars there to sweep away that veil of not seeing clearly, that veil of non-clarity, or whatever you would call it, and be wanting to see the truth, and be willing to do what it takes to sweep that veil of illusion away.
Hmm.
And I'm not talking about the veil of illusion of our life and soul and why we came here. It's a 2 week span. I mean, if you could do that, that would be great, but at least what you might be laboring under at this point in time.
Yeah, yeah, it's good
Yeah,
to set expectations, Jyoti.
absolutely. You don't want to go too far. Yes,
Yeah,
or expect a new earth, a new world, a new human in 2 weeks.
okay.
That would be a little much.
Okay,
But
although we
we're
are
working.
moving faster these days.
Oh, absolutely, things are speeding up. And from what I can gather for 2024, it's going to speed up tremendously.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, Jyoti, having said that, we've got some plans ahead to record a look at the whole year ahead.
Yes. 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 The high points.
Okay,
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
because there's a few of them, especially in
Wonderful.
April. Yeah.
Wonderful. So, folks, you can look towards that in the middle of January. We'll have that ready for you. And
Yes.
Jyoti, I think it's a great opportunity right now in this start of the new year, as we're edging there, to remind folks about your astrology readings you offer.
Okay. People can contact me through my webpage, jyotiwindastrology.com. And yeah, I offer readings and shamanic work and classes and in astrology, and a study group for astrology, and a different study group for shamanism.
Wonderful. And there are different types of astrology readings that you offer.
Yes, yes, I offer a natal chart from a look at what was going on when the person was born, along with progressions and transits and eclipses for the following year. Relationship charts, synastry, and composites, and astrocartography readings, where you take a person's chart and put it on a map of the world, um, wedding charts, business charts, all that kind of thing.
Beautiful. Hey, Jyoti, thank you so much. And thank you for continuing to share your gift with all of us.
Oh, thank you, Lauren. Thank you for your part in this also. Yep.